This will be a good one.
It'll be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness.
Welcome everybody to my first episode back after being on the DLIL, whatever one that you like.
You were on the down low.
Yeah, well, not that one. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but anyways, it's been a while since I've been in. I had to deal with a few things. Personally, I had some skin cancer removed, so for those of you that are out there in the sun, please wear some sun protection. I'm not going to tell you to wear sunscreen because some people are conspiracy theory people, so wear some sun shirts, wear some sun hats. There's UPF 50s, sun shades. Get yourself in the shade, stay out of the sun so that you don't have to get cut on as much as I have been here recently. PSA there, though, don't put your sunshades behind home plate, especially if you're in high school. Let the college coaches who come watch those games. But anyways, shout out to Game 7 Baseball, one of our sponsors here, game7baseball.com. They have their spring schedule out, spring and summer.
It's starting to. Just a little bit of it. A little bit of it.
Okay, maybe he sent me a sneak peek of it because
he probably did. Oh, I'm sure he probably did.
Yeah.
It's just not all up on the website yet.
Gotcha. Yeah. And Prime Sports Midwest, they got a few things going on. I'm actually working with Prime Sports Midwest. December 13th, we're doing I'm not sure if that's been advertised yet, but we're going to have a bat demo out to the hitting zone.
When is that?
December 13th,
okay.
6 p.m. to 9 p.m. out there. Sorry, Rick, if you didn't get that announced.
Have to come out and get some swings in, bro.
Yeah, do it again. You came out last year, got to swing off the machine.
Yep.
So do it again.
I did it the one in Fenton too. The bat demo.
You know what? I am down actually 6 pounds. I'm feeling good, so I'll swing with you.
Cool. That's what I should have done. Because sorry, we were supposed to have Dave Wiggins on here, and me being the producer, I'm sitting in right now because we had some technical issues with the computer. We're able to record this, but we couldn't get Dave in, and I'm sorry, Dave. We'll reschedule this. I guess I should probably text Dave and let him know we're gonna have to reschedule. I didn't do that yet. Go ahead.
Well, this is
what I was thinking about. We should have brought, and if I'd have been thinking about it, we should have brought up some of these videos that I had of me swinging, so you could give me some pointers.
I'm not doing that because I already have a different theory of hitting than you do. So I don't want to argue with you.
No, it's not. I'm talking about doing it as fun.
No, I would love to do it. I actually have been feeling pretty good lately. I've been kind of trying to get a little bit more athletic. So I've been doing a lot of stuff at home, a lot of recovery things, so that I can be more active for my athletes. And so I'm thinking December 13th, I go out and I'll swing with you. Might have to do slow pitch though, because I don't want to embarrass myself. So I feel like I can still hit a softball.
Well, it's soft. It's just a front toss.
You know who the most important person in front tossing is?
If I was trying to hit 50 miles an hour, I'd probably just pull the arms out of the sockets out of my arms or something like that.
That's the point. It's hooked up to hit track, so we can see how hard we're hitting some baseballs. And
I didn't get in there. I didn't. I was probably. Hey, I got some good ones. I probably got exit velo up to 59 miles an hour.
I throw harder than that, so we have to work on that. We're going to have to come in.
I don't know.
But speaking of some hard hit baseballs, the Dodgers and Yankees hit some baseballs.
Which we predicted.
We did, which hit some baseballs very hard over the last week and some change. I'm excited to watch Friday's series, I guess. I think it's going to be a big one. Obviously, a lot of money for the MLB, a lot of money in probably betting.
Now, let me ask you, do you think it would have been the same with the Subway Series?
Well, first of all, I would rather see San Diego there, than anybody on the NL side. I'm not sure.
But do you think you'd have lost the western half of the country?
I don't know. It's playoff baseball, and I like to think that everybody tunes in. I don't know if there's going to be. You'll probably lose 2 million viewers, probably. That would be interesting.
Right?
Well, the last Subway Series was right after 9/11, correct?
Yes.
And so that had some, some different.
That had some meat to it.
Yeah, different things to it. But I mean, it's New York, and that whole East Coast. Well, definitely had tuned in, but I don't know. I wonder what the views were like to begin with, because I feel like there's less baseball being watched with the different restrictions on TVs, and you have to have cable these days to watch games. It seems like so. I'd have been interested to see, but again, I think it's the Dodgers are such a good team, and that they're the two best teams in baseball. It's the first time in what, like, I forget how long it's been, like 15-something years since the last two number 1 seeds have gotten in there.
Yeah. I'm calling Dave Wiggins. He was supposed to be on the show. Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. This is Brian.
What's up?
This is new.
I'm hoping that this is coming through. I'm sorry we're having to. We're gonna have to reschedule. I got I'm sitting here with Mitch. We're gonna have to reschedule. I've got you on the microphone. People can hear you. You're on my speaker. We're recording because we have to get something out. We're recording just for the show this afternoon. So, but I wanted to say I'm sorry.
Hey, it's okay. Technical difficulties happen, man. It's all good.
But we got you here. I want to ask your opinion though about the upcoming World Series.
Oh boy.
What do you think?
You got two, us being in the Midwest, probably two pretty hated franchises going at it.
At least for us.
I can't lie and say that I care who wins, because I really don't, but I think it's going to be a really good series. You just got a loaded lineup on both sides, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see Shohei in his first World Series, and it's going to. I think it's going to be who can out-hit who, and obviously no one's out-hit the Dodgers this postseason, but if anyone can do it, I think the Yankees can. I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be fun.
There you go. See, I'm a blue kind of guy.
Oh, you are a big Dodger guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
You got to be careful how you say that in today's.
Exciting.
It is, and it's listen, because here's the thing. I got into baseball. I grew up in Southern California that way. Dodger fan, Chavez Ravine. I remember my first experience was watching Reggie Jackson break our hearts. And that was the first. I still vividly see those balls going out and Reggie running around the bases. It's still very terrorizing to me. And, I don't think I remember where I was when Kirk Gibson, and all those things. So those are fun. I remember the series, when Ozzie Smith,
Oh, yeah.
hit the homer, and the Cardinals dominated after 81 in the over the Dodgers in the 80s. So it's kind of been that back and forth there, and they got after the Dodgers in the 90s a little bit, or late 90s, early 2000s.
It had to be the late 90s, because I think both teams were bad in the 90s.
Bad in the 90s, yeah.
Early 90s.
I mean,
I think what it really was is the Dodgers, they really just needed Kershaw to not be able to pitch in the postseason, and that's what really got them through.
You're not wrong. I'm sorry. Isn't that terrible?
That's a little bit of cannibalism over there, Dave.
Pitchers in history, and not very good in the postseason, but that's fine.
Yeah, it happens,
Dave's left-handed,
right?
ain't he?
Dave are you left-handed?
The postseason is a different animal, though. I mean, look at Emmanuel Clase and how dominant he was all season, and just how human he was in that series versus the Yankees.
He was less than human.
It's just so different.
It is. Well, hey, Dave, I'm going to let you go, but we'll reschedule you. So, folks, remember next time we'll have Dave. We'll get Dave back on the show. We're going to have a great conversation. Sorry about that, buddy. Have a good one.
Not a problem. You guys take care.
All right, bud. Bye.
All right. See ya.
Five runs.
That was fun, right?
Yeah, five. Clase, he brought up Clase there. 5 runs allowed all season long.
I think they overused him. By the time, you're in that last one, I mean, here he is, and it's just what's left.
You know what, though? But you looked at the last game he pitched in, he was nails. And so I don't know that they overused him. It's something about that pressure.
Okay, when you talk about overuse,
he did have like 79 games.
Honestly, I don't think seeing people get this where they get, well, his arm is going to be bad, this, that. I'm like, no, it's not that. I don't think it is. What I think ends up happening is you give what happened with the Dodgers against Manaea.
You give way too many looks of the same arm, you'll end up getting touched up.
Big league hitters are good.
There's a reason why they're there, right? Every level that they've played, they've been able to do this. And the thing, this is what I love about the big leagues and how they talk about it. Sometimes you get lucky. Like Betts has let off a couple of games with some big flies and some things like that, and it's like sometimes you get kind of just lucky, kind of getting that opportunity. But again, like their first at bat, you almost go and have the expectation that you're going to get beat.
Yeah.
Because you need to see depth of pitches. You need to see what he's got for the day. And sometimes, you might see a pitcher a week ago and he has a different kind of movement or a day, Jack Flaherty. Look at what he was like in game 1, and then the next game he pitched wasn't the same.
Nope.
He just couldn't. The guys weren't chasing the curveballs anymore outside of the zone. They saw the turn, and the Mets and Dodgers are two of the best teams at taking pitches and not swinging out of the zone. So it obviously worked in their favor because guess what you can sit on?
Yes.
And it's just – I do agree with you when you think about the terms of overuse and how your kind of perception is it. I usually associate it with like how you started with like maybe use too many innings. But you're right. It's the more that you see a guy, and that's why I always I try to encourage my kids. Like the first at bat, you usually have the pitcher's at bat. Like that's who you're competing against, or the umpire, or both.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, you're not giving to the pitcher. Maybe you give to the umpire. You're trying to work your way into it. You're trying to see 6 pitches. By the time it's your third at bat, that's where you get your 1 hit. So now I'm 1 for 3.
Right.
The fourth at bat is up in the air.
It's a free for all.
Yeah,
because you might even be seeing another pitcher.
Yeah. So from there, it's like this is why I tell kids to live pitch to pitch in the game is because you get a fastball that you see a 2-seam run on it, and you get a changeup off that pitch on the same overlay. With a lot of technology, you get to see it. 2-seamer runs this way, you got a little bit more depth into your changeup. And it's like, man, you got me there. But what are you doing your next at bat? You're remembering this, right? So that when you see the 2-seamer next time, instead of swinging over it because you saw the turn on the ball too late or whatever, now you're taking that pitch. And so now you're not going to see that changeup off of it.
And you saw, Mitch, you see the guys on deck, the guy that just come in and scored, he's sitting there talking, chatting him because they're not saying, hey, man, where are we going to go? No, he's saying, look. This is what I saw here. You might get this. This is what you can lay off this pitch here. You can do. They're talking about it constantly. That's why they got the iPads, man, rolling. They're talking about those things constantly. And I don't think we talk about that particular piece enough in hitting in high school. Good high school teams, you guys want to know. Tell me what's going on. What did you see? What did you see? Arm slot, things like that. Because a pitcher. And I think this is what you saw with Manaea with the Dodgers. It's what, and Tommy Edmonds said that, the second look, we got a better look at his arm slot, and his arm slot isn't changing. And then he has those basically 2 pitches that he's working off of. And there you go.
They took his curveball. They hit his fastball. Again, it's the same thing we just talked about with Jack Flaherty, like the adjustments that were made. Again, they're the best in the world for a reason. They're the two best teams that we're seeing. They're there for that reason. But again, going back to kind of that conversation, we don't talk about the small details enough. This is what I love playoff baseball about. Even the major leagues during the regular season doesn't necessarily go to the on-deck hitter, like you said, and start whispering things in his ear. They kind of figure it out. They have a conversation in the dugout, after everybody's at bats or whatever. Maybe there's some changes. But in the playoffs, when things matter, you're starting to see the IQ kick in for these guys, and they're going in there because you have to find a way.
Right.
Every run is going to matter. I mean, obviously in the Dodgers-Mets series, the Dodgers blew them out, and it seemed like only one game was competitive. But, at the end of the day, it's like you're up 10 runs, nobody cares. You just do what you do. We already know the game plan going into this was lay off the curveball, hit the heater. Well, it worked. But it just, we don't have enough of that. And I think that helps. It's, going back to Pete Rose stuff, I say it till I'm blue in the face, the 27 outs that he had in a game, he always wanted to know what they saw. This is, as a pitcher, as a pitching guy now versus more of a hitting guy, I focus a lot on pitching and sequencing. I love my pitchers to go out and throw fastballs.
I thought this was the hitting zone, bro.
It is, but this is where we crush topics, right? I couldn't come up with a creative pitching thing. Uncle Charlie's podcast, that's already taken, and it sounds weird. Uncle Mitch might have been fine, or I guess
Mitchy the Kid.
Mitchy the Kid could have worked. If we change it, you could bring it up. We can.
We'll keep it as the hitting zone.
But anyways, it's the thing that I want my pitchers in the first inning throwing 3 different fastballs, not 3 different curveballs, because I don't want to see kids 3 at bats later in the 4th or 5th inning, and they see my pitcher 3 times, and they've already seen every pitch he has in the arsenal.
When you're talking about that, and this is the things, you always start. Well, you don't always, but we're starting here at this top level, and the other part of this is these are big league pitchers too. They make adjustments. It's the guys that can make the adjustments. How am I going to pitch them? You're coming back. They're going to see you again. What adjustments as a pitcher are you making so that they can't sit on a pitch? Do you pitch Do you pitch backwards? What's the game plan? I don't think that you can. Maybe some teams, but not the Dodgers, not the Yankees, not the Padres. You have to come back the next time when they see you, especially in such a short space of time. We're not talking about like Mania saw him in April and then he sees him in August.
6 days apart.
Yeah. 3 months, what did we see? It's not the same thing. It's, 5 days.
You cannot pitch the same that you did the day before. And you can't do that. I don't think you can do that anywhere, to be honest with you. I don't think you could do it in the high school level. I think you can get away with it because you have some immature hitters. But like in our conference in the GACs, top to bottom, I don't think you can do that because you have some high-level kids in there.
Right.
At all 3 of the divisions. And so, for me, it's like, this is what I try to preach to our kids. The hitting mechanics stuff, I understand, that's a big piece of the game. But our approach, we don't have that. And these are things that we have to build on. If I have a pitcher that in the first inning throws his full arsenal, we better score 5 or 6 runs by the second time we see him. Because if I get to see his curveball, I get to see his slider, whatever his off speed is or whatever his secondaries are, how he pitch sequences guys. If we get to the 5th inning and we don't have 6 runs on a guy, I'm not doing my job as a coach, and my team is not educated enough to make those adjustments, because the game is about adjustments. And the first one to make it usually gets outs, ultimately wins the games, typically, right?
Right.
Because you have to do that. And again, you just said it. First time you saw Mania, very different. But the second time, he did the exact same thing.
Yes.
Jack Flaherty did the exact same thing.
Yes.
They both got shelled.
Yes. Exactly.
And they fed off walks.
Yep.
Where they were swinging over the top of them.
And that was the Achilles heel to the Mets pitching. I
didn't see that coming. The Cody Senga start, his first start in that series, and I'm he needs to be out now.
Well, but and to you gotta. It's tough on that guy. I feel bad for him. You're stuck in that situation. You haven't pitched really all year, and you're in one of these biggest high leverage situations of probably your career, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I ain't got nothing for these guys right now. Could he be a whole different pitcher next year? Sure.
He was in the second time he came in. And when he started that game 1 of the series, it was like, okay, their Mets are in trouble.
Yeah.
But he came in relief, I think, in the last game they lost. But he did fine there.
Yeah, it's tough. I think I was shocked. I will tell you. I'm just glad we beat the Padres.
That was my favorite series.
It was a bit nerve-wracking. The Dodgers and the Yankees, I still don't know that the Dodgers can beat the Yankees just because of pitching. Can you leverage that staff like they've been leveraging the bullpen for another 4 wins?
Well, I looked at Kansas City. I looked at Cleveland's, path. Because they obviously had to go through the Yankees. The Yankees never scored a bunch of runs in that series. I mean, I know that, some of them games were 6, 7, 8 runs or whatever, but it was 8-5, whatever. I don't know that the Yankees have enough pitching. I don't know that the Dodgers have enough pitching. They both have hitting. Who is hot? Who can stay hot? Austin Wells isn't hitting. I don't think he had a great series. I don't think Volpe had a great series. It seemed like the Dodgers up and down. Paez coming off the bench doing some things that he was doing. That's a scary thing. Freddie Freeman didn't play much in that. I don't think that the Yankees can hit with them. I think they can slug with them. I think they swing and miss a little too much. Stanton in the playoffs, obviously a guy to watch. I was listening to his stats yesterday.
Did you see him, man? Gee.
He's a mountain of a man, and it's still Aaron Judge makes him look small, which is wild. But who can make Giancarlo Stanton or whatever, Mike Stanton, if you guys can remember his first name?
Could you imagine standing between these guys? How you doing, guys? Good.
Oh, I would love to stand next to him because that means I've probably got a cool mill in my pocket right now. And I'm not trying to take photos in some random uniform. I would wear pinstripes, the ones that you hate. I would wear.
I would
those
love to
in
meet
a
those.
heartbeat.
I mean, Aaron Judge. Watching these guys play is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. I am not and will never root for the Yankees, but
Ever.
If
it was the Padres Yankees World Series right now, what would you do besides turn it off?
Nothing.
Watch hockey?
It would be, honestly, that series I would probably watch over the Subway Series. If it was the Padres and the Yankees, I would watch that because I would root for the Padres over the Yankees. Now, the Mets, I have no care about. But I really enjoy watching Manny Machado play. He's a fantastic. I don't think he gets the pub he deserves. Personally, I think Fernando gets more than Manny, and Manny's the heart and soul of that team.
Oh, you remember the argument they had in St. Louis? It was televised all over TV. They were playing in St. Louis. Tatis had a bad series or was going through it or whatever he had going on that series. And him and Manny Machado got into it.
Oh, yes, I saw that. Yeah,
I was actually at the game on that side of the field. And staring into the dugout,
I remember you told me that.
Oh man, it was awesome. It was intense because he kept saying, "This is not about you," and I love that piece because that's some of the frustrations I have with our young players is that it is really they think it's about them versus the big picture. And I love that.
I hope that Fernando's turned that corner because he's a fantastic baseball player. And
he's still young. He's still immature.
Yeah, and I think the bout with the roids or the whatever you want to call it.
I don't want to give you my opinion on that.
We're not going to get into that.
I am. Inject them all. I'm paying $60 a ticket. Inject them all. I want to see Randy Orton hitting baseballs 700 feet. That size guy. Hulk Hogan, and just we'll have to go back to the cutoff days when the teams wore the cutoff.
He said that out loud.
And no
fantastic!
And just 24-inch pythons. You just see guys out there just flexing like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Superfly Jimmy Snuka coming off the second base bag, elbow dropping.
Oh my God!
Iron Sheik.
We just
see it now, man.
WWE baseball.
It would be a video game that would sell. It'd probably be a lot more entertaining for the kids.
Oh my goodness. That guy's throwing 125 miles an hour.
Can you imagine somebody just running the bases and then Randy Orton coming out of shallow and RKOing somebody? Tag, you're out. There's somebody getting the rock bottom. See me. I don't know how that took a turn. I have no idea. It's still steroids. Yeah, inject them all. Give them everything they need.
And for you kids at home,
Start with peptides. Start with SARMs. They're the oral.
oh,
It's for recovery. Don't do steroids.
boy.
Do you remember the scene from
Go to supplement
Waterboy?
superstores or your local GNC or your local vitamin shop. There you go. I don't care.
We'll start with the gummies, of course.
Oh, mercy. Anywho, I don't even know what we were talking about anymore. Oh,
Steroids.
San Diego Padres, Manny Machado. I'd rather watch
yeah.
them. Even though they both wear pinstripes, which is horrible.
I don't like the San Diego Padres pinstripes. Don't like them.
Okay.
Like the hat.
But
don't
you know,
like
but that's what I mean. You have things that but never would I. It's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys in football, San Francisco 49ers. Never root for them. If you got the Niners and the Cowboys playing each other,
You watching the AFC Championship game then?
yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna go with what I was thinking, but I ain't gonna say that. But nonetheless,
I want to know where we're going. We're already going places we've never been before today.
If
We've had technical difficulties. We talked about steroids.
if they both lose, it's fine with me, and they don't get to move on. And
Why
somebody
aren't you a
gets bye.
49ers gang guy?
Oh, dude, I'm a Rams fan.
Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm. But see, this is where
Are we going with
it's
Chris
tough.
Everett days?
And I want to say this because there's been many years I'd root for the
I don't think you heard
Cardinals.
me.
I would say that I would go. I really enjoy the Cardinals, and if I'm not rooting for the Dodgers, I'll root for the Cardinals because I think the organizations kind of went sideways, but just the whole
It's a flat tire. It's got
a flat on it.
yeah,
Yes,
we need an
I
alignment
agree.
done.
But as far as that goes, and it's tough because it's always been one of those right. But I grew up a Dodgers fan. I grew up rooting for the Dodgers, the Lakers, the Rams. That's just always been the case. And so I'm not that person that goes, if a player moves to this place or a player goes here, I'm not that guy. I'll root against that guy if he's on the Celtics especially. It's a crying shame that Jason Tatum is on the Boston Celtics. A crying shame. Now, I know he doesn't think so, and that's fine, and that's his
You can't
prerogative.
root for the player, though?
I like Jason Tatum as a player. He's a great player. Never root for him. That's green, dude. That's green.
It'll probably look good on you. Probably better than purple.
Green does look good on me. I'll say that. But
It probably looks better than purple and yellow.
No.
Don't come in here in just a jersey. You have to have an undershirt. I don't.
Don't you hate
Don't-
that?
don't
You got the guy. He's kind of like, dude, I don't want to see that.
I got a feeling I got this salt and pepper, man hair on there. It's like I'm good. We got to do it. We're gonna bring in a Magic James Worthy.
I got my
bringing in a
Kobe.
James Worthy.
I got my Kobe and a Shaq jersey.
Yeah, but I feel like James Worthy is the reason why you watch the Lakers. Magic Johnson.
It's Magic Johnson. Yeah, you know that because that's where I grew up. I mean, it was that era. Boom. And this was because you can ask my dad. We'd be watching because it's like in the early '80s, everything was was taped, and then they would play the NBA Finals after your late local news.
Aired when it would air.
Yes, and
The
that's
game
what
would
it
be aired
was.
or whatever.
And that was even in the early '80s in that first championship the Lakers won there, and through I think it was finally '83 that it wasn't tape delayed. That's the word, because that would be on the bottom. This is tape delayed, so you could know the score if you wanted to, because they had late local news and the Lakers won. Great! I was just getting ready to watch it.
Don't need to watch the game. That was probably pretty tough, man. I couldn't imagine. Obviously, I was 3 years old then, so I don't remember any piece of that.
Right.
I'm not even sure I had hair by the time I was 3.
So, but I think those are things as fans, do I just see, and I think that's what's interesting. There's another question, you get into, I don't think we're getting, but the sports betting has changed how football is watched, how baseball is watched, how basketball is watched. And I think we've lost something. I think we've lost something because of that personally, because, your team, you rooted for your team and somebody moved on. Good for them if they win, as long as they weren't 49ers or Cowboys. It just, that used to be, there was rivalries that way, and we don't have that anymore because, I'm rooting for the Cowboys now because my dude went there.
Fantasy.
That's just wrong. And basketball started doing it. You could trade your jersey in. If you bought it through the NBA store, if a player
Change teams.
Change
like
teams.
Or something?
You could trade your jersey in for the. I'm like, that's just horrible. Who would do that mess?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I knew it. That's just the difference. Man.
But I also hate the Cubs. So therefore, like if they did that in baseball, I did not go out and get a Jim Edmonds jersey just because he went to the Cubs. Now I still have that, but I would trade it in. So it had to be the same guy.
Yeah, it had to be the same player.
I just do what everybody did to LeBron jerseys. I just burn it. I just burn it. Now I get my jerseys from Team U, so it don't matter. They never fit anyways. So I'm paying like $12 at the top. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So I got some old jerseys hanging in the closet from way back in the day.
I do too. For obvious reasons, because Michael Jordan happened. Michael Jordan was the reason I watched basketball, and then I loved Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, he was fun. Human highlight reel, baby.
Yeah, and then Sean Kemp. Like I didn't appreciate what Larry Bird had done, or even Magic Johnson, until a more closer to their retirement years. No. Just because I had to go back and watch like what
I watched it
the
all.
Pistons had done to the Bulls, and I wasn't aware of that because when I was being influenced by sports, I was 14, 15 years old, and the Bulls already had won a few championships by then. So then he had his shoes, and so I think Michael Jordan's an iconic figure for the NBA, and it's a game changer.
That was always, I was never a Bulls fan. It's Michael Jordan.
I was a Sonics. That. My second favorite team was the Sonics, probably.
And you saw all these teams, try and come and just like smooth. I'm like, dude, come on, somebody. Give them something. And you just, year after year of just dominance. I mean.
I would have loved to see Houston when Olajuwon and them won the back-to-back when Jordan wasn't in the league. Is that what we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
kind of that thing?
That was in the middle of there.
I wonder what it would have been like with that Houston Rockets team. And I don't know that they could have competed. Obviously, Jordan's out of the league, but I think about how good they were in those series. I thought Seattle was going to do something. I thought Utah was going to do something. They did.
Drexler couldn't do it with Portland.
Man, Robert Horry, though. He's got like 17 championships with 38
that
teams.
Houston team was I think that's a good question because I do think that Houston team was better than both the Utah and the Sonics team. No, because of Olajuwon.
Yeah, Olajuwon was just out of I think he could have shut down. I mean, MJ is obviously a perimeter guy.
He wouldn't be guarded. But it would have been Olajuwon, and the only thing though, man,
Horace Grant, Cartwright, they ain't got nothing.
There was Jordan and nobody else like that. In the 80s, it was Larry and Magic. You had those two guys and all their teammates. You had two guys of that caliber. It was just one in the 90s there. So I think that's the difference in what you
don't think Barkley was on that?
No.
Patrick Ewing,
Charles, a great player, but do I think he was that? No.
I just don't think there was anybody like Michael Jordan though. He is in a tier that I think is above a lot of players.
Who's that guy in baseball right now?
It's got to be Shohei.
Yeah.
Is there anything more exciting to watch than Shohei? Maybe I love watching 90s, Bobby Witt. I love watching Aaron Judge, but like Shohei is must-see TV.
Is there somebody like that in baseball? Can they have the same mentality and really win? And I think you do. You can. I think Derek Jeter for the Yankees in the 90s was that guy. I think he just willed that team to win.
You know,
you got to have talent around you, but just
Paul
that mentality.
O'Neill doesn't scream top tier level guys, right? Like you looked at Jeter on that roster, and I'm losing track. The
Brett
third
Boone.
baseman. Well, but who was the third baseman?
Gosh,
I
can see him in
yeah,
my head.
Same. And I feel like I wanted to say Troy Glass. It's obviously not him, but it's a name like that. Like it's a whatever. He made the. It was just there. He made the last out like at third base, caught the pop fly like in foul territory. Like it's all there. But anyways, like I meant to say this earlier. Jeter said the other day on, I don't know if you heard this. He took his daughter and a bunch of teenagers to the Taylor Swift concert in Miami. Did you see this?
No.
And he was talking about taking whatever, and he looked at Big Papi and A-Rod. How he took a bunch of kids to the event. And, it was a good time or whatever. And he was like, this is what I deal with on set. It is a fantastic little skit. So if you can find it, go find it, share it, because I think it is phenomenal. Because Jeter is like one of those dry humans. I think he's very dry.
In his humor, everything.
Funny.
Yeah.
If you just kind of the way that he digs. He talked about hazing earlier when I think we were off air. But the little digs and stuff like that, he just takes them. And it's hilarious because they both laughed, and I don't think heard them. Yeah, I don't think they heard them.
Poppy's fun, man. You gotta just
my dog. His
David
shirts.
Ortiz.
He gets the
that.
shirts out, says
The
my
My
dog
Dog
on it, and it's him. I love it. His ego is through the roof. He had so much drip, and I'm not talking about on his clothing or on his fingers or neck. I'm talking about what was in his hair and in his beard. The amount of oil that he had. And they had the bright lights flashing on them, and it was glistening. I don't know if you guys pay attention to that. But that stuff cracks me
that's
up.
hilarious. Poppy's fun.
Oh, he's an
just
absolute
fun.
riot. Yeah, he's a riot.
And because you got the two
Yankees. I could actually do without A-Rod on that.
He's okay.
He's-
he's not horrible. But he's okay.
Well, I like his baseball IQ. Like,
His
I
baseball
love
IQ.
the way that he talks about
Sure.
baseball and some things like that, which is for obvious reasons. You need a guy like that. He reminds
But
me
he's
of
a
like
guy
a
that
Kenny
doesn't have
Smith.
much of a sense of humor.
Oh, it's
He's
weird.
kind of
It's just-
awkward.
I don't like his tan. Like I don't need the fake
He's
tan.
not tan. He's Latin.
But he tans. He's in a tanning bed guy. He's got the orangish brown look. Like the San Diego Padres brown hat. Like it's so dark. It's just weird to me.
Man, this is one of the weirdest conversations I think we've ever had.
Yeah,
on
last
the show.
time we did this together, you put baseball potpourri. This time, I do not think this is going to be
This
baseball
ain't-
potpourri.
This ain't potpourri.
I think you should just put a question mark.
What the heck are they talking
Just
about?
Just a question
That's
mark.
it. What the heck are they talking about? We're
With
talking.
an exclamation point after it.
Well,
Did
I'll
you
tell
catch my-
It's like this.
Ah, no, no. Look at me, la patine. Tú, de Macarena. Y tú, de cookie.
That's what it was.
Well said. Well said. I love that. That's fantastic. Did you get my Chris Everett joke earlier when you said you were a Rams fan?
Chris Everett.
Yeah, you know who Chris Everett was, right?
No, it was Jim Everett.
I know, but do you know who Chris
I know
Everett
who
is?
Chris Everett is, tennis player. I remember all that stuff.
The Jim
Heck
Rome?
yeah, I remember that. Jim Rome was a putz.
I loved it, though.
I loved
He
it because
just
Jim
called me
Everett
Chris
got
again. He's like,
up and said, "Stand up, big boy, let's go." And then he's like,
oh, yeah, well, because when Jim stood up,
Jim
I was
stood
like,
up, he's 6'5".
that's a big boy.
220.
Flings the table.
Hey, you get back in that's what Jim Rome was always a putz to me. He just because
He does have one of my favorite skits, though. And that is Softball Guy. And if you've never heard Softball Guy, you might be able to put a link to
the
this
terrible
up there.
thing
It's
is
fantastic.
when they got Jim Everett, they traded away Dickerson in it. I was always like, why?
Is that when he went to the Colts?
Yes. Pay the man.
Pay the man. I tell you what.
They would have won a Super Bowl with Jim Everett and Eric Dickerson.
Oh yeah, what they had, and that was they still
They
had
had
Jack
a defense.
Youngblood and all that group.
They
still
had
there, right?
the defense.
What was their nickname? Their defense's nickname? Fearsome Foursome.
No, that was in the '60s. That was Deacon Jones. That was Fearsome Foursome was
Is that the Vikings
long before
too?
that. No, that's
That was-
Purple People Eaters.
Yeah, I got other names for those.
So there you go. All right, let's we're done.
It starts with a P.
I'll let you.
Close the show out?
Yeah, let's do that.
Question mark.
Hey, boss, tous les copains?
Have a good night or good day whenever you watch this. Have a great day. And I forgot how the saying goes.
I always tell people to have a great day in the Lord.
Yeah, there you go. I thought there was something else actually to that. I had Lord on there.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is King, right? Is that what?
I always say, if you're going to give something, you should give love, you should give life, and you should give Jesus.
With that,
And we have something else to say. This.
Hey, boss. Thank you, boss.
shut her down.